Hello everybody, welcome to Tarot Star. I am your host, Melody. Today we're going to be doing a ghost box reading, and this will be on the Manson murders, because this occurred on August 9th, 1969, and we are on August 9th now, so we're not going to go into the gory detail with the people that were, their lives were ended because of Charles Manson. We're just going to try to see if we can find out what the real motive of this was. I mean, was the motive because he was upset because, Charles Manson was upset because he didn't get a record deal? Was it drug related? Was it about helter skelter, white supremacy? I mean, what could have been, right? It wasn't really defined so much. I mean, they talk about all of it. They say about, how they ended these people, and they went down there and, all of this, and they wrote the word pig on the door and all this ridiculous stuff. But why? What was behind this ridiculousness, this chaotic mess that this horrible man concocted in his head to his cult? Why was this even happening to these beautiful people, these people that had nothing to do with anything? We're going to get into it. Let's say our prayer to Archangel Michael first. Archangel Michael, please protect me and my viewers as I conduct a ghost box reading for informational purposes on the Manson murders that occurred on August 9th, 1969 in Los Angeles, California. Please protect us from negative forces, negative entities, negative beings, demonic forces, demonic entities, demonic beings, and do not allow these things to attach or attack us now as we watch this or in the future from Ghost Box. Please keep us shielded in white light and protected from such things. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Amen. Okay, so, where do I start with this mess? Charles Manson, he was a serial killer. Obviously he became a serial killer. He orchestrated his cult, couple of women, couple of men, to go down to the home on 10050 Cielo Drive to end the life of Sharon Tate, J. Sebring, Woshwick, Frykowski, and Abigail Folger, and there's another one, Stephen, I believe his name was. And Sharon Tate was an aspiring actress. She was in a couple of movies. She was in Valley of the Dolls. She was trying to become something of herself. She was a model as well. Very beautiful young woman, 26 years old. J. Sebring was a hair cutter. He used to cut hair for the celebrities. That was her old boyfriend. And Sharon was married to Roman Polanski, which is a famous film director, and he's directed a couple of films that you may know. Rosemary's Baby is one of them. And you had Abigail Folger. She was an heir to the Folger Foundation. So, why? Why, right? What is the reasoning for these people's lives having to end? And it was horrific. It's like a complete Halloween nightmare. Because, these people came in, they cut the phone lines, and in stealth mode, they're walking up to the house, they sneak in, they rile everybody up in the living room, and basically say that they're gonna end everybody. Of course people are gonna go running and screaming, right? As soon as you hear that, yeah, you're going to go running and screaming. And so people started to disperse, except for Sharon. She stayed right there. And then Jay noticed that Sharon was there, and he tried to protect Sharon, and he was ended right away. And then Sharon, I believe, was the last one to be ended. They had a rope around her neck and stabbed her repeatedly, and it was a horrific mess where there were stabbings involved and shootings. Everybody was ended in that house, and there was no real reasoning for this, no real reasoning. I mean, the possible motives that they say is revenge against Terry Melcher, that used to be renting that home, and he was listening to Charles Manson's music. Perhaps he was going to give him a record deal, but he didn't give him a record deal. And Charles Manson got mad about that, and he sent people down there to do something to Terry Melcher, but Terry Melcher didn't live there anymore. Now it's Sharon Tate, and she had her friends over, and she was there. They also say a possible motive as being drug-related. Everybody's on drugs. Maybe, they go down there to steal things and possibly score some more drugs. Who knows? The other one is white supremacy. Charles Manson was talking about helter-skelter. He was naming things. I think that was even part of one of his songs. Or no, he was listening to a Beatles song called Helter-Skelter, and then he took it in a completely different avenue than what the Beatles made the song for. The Beatles were not about white supremacy or anything like that, just regular artists singing regular songs. And he took it some other way, and he's talking about white supremacy and, getting all the minorities out, and why did they let all the minorities in? It's ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous. So let's get into it. Let's see. Maybe we can figure out on this ghost box what the motive was and see how these guys are doing. And by the way, all of the members of the Manson cult, they all pretty much passed away in prison, except for somebody by the name of Tex that's still living in prison, I think. One of them is the only one that got away because they were not really involved in it. They were like the lookout or something like that. But Charles Manson's also passed away. Okay? The ringleader of this whole ridiculous, chaotic mess. So, let's find out. Spirit guides of... I guess we'll talk to Sharon Tate, and then we'll start talking to some of the other ones. Spirit guides of Sharon Tate that passed away on August 9th, 1969 in Los Angeles, California on Cielo Drive. Sharon, we want you to know that Charles Manson is gone. He's passed away in prison. All the people involved in you and your friends' endings they were all caught. They were all given prison forever, and most of them have passed away in prison, including the ringleader, which is Charles Manson. And I just want you to know that, Sharon Tate. Spirit guides of Sharon Tate that passed away on August 9th, 1969 in Los Angeles, California at 10050 Cielo Drive. Sharon, I want you to know, Sharon, that you are very much still thought about till this day. There was a Hollywood movie created with you, and they made the possible ending of you actually getting away from this horrible mess. I want you to know that you are still thought about this day. Spirit guides of Sharon Tate that passed away on August 9th, 1969 on 10050 Cielo Drive in Los Angeles, California. Sharon, do you know what the motive was behind ending your life, including Jay's and Abigail's and Worship's? What was the motive behind it? Spirit guides of Sharon Tate that passed away on August 9th, 1969 in Los Angeles, California at 10050 Cielo Drive. Sharon, let me ask you about your life a little bit. You were married to Roman Polanski. Was that marriage going to work, Sharon? I mean, I don't know if that was going to work for you. I know that you were having a baby with Roman, but how did you feel about Roman? There was a lot of indifferences there from what I've read. Spirit guides of, now we're going to go with Abigail. Spirit guides of Abigail Folger that passed away on August 9th, 1969 in Los Angeles, California at 10050 Cielo Drive. Abigail, I'm so sorry that that happened to you. If nobody told you that, I'm telling you that from so many people. Can you tell us what you think the motive was as to why these people ended you and your friends in Cielo Drive? Thank you so much for coming through, Abigail, if you came through, or Spirit Guides of Abigail. We're going to ask J.C. Sebring some questions now. Spirit Guides of J. Sebring, that passed away on August 9th, 1969, from Los Angeles, California, at 10050 Cielo Drive. Jay, I understand that you were protecting Sharon Tate when this was all occurring. Can you tell us what you see happened that day? Thank you for coming through, J. Sebring, if you came through, or Spirit Guides of J. Sebring. Now I'm going to ask you and Sharon a question that's always been on my mind. Spirit Guides of Sharon Tate and J. Sebring, that passed away on August 9th, 1969, in Los Angeles, California, at 10050 Cielo Drive. Sharon and Jay, I always felt that you were a better couple together. I just never saw Roman Polanski in this mix. Were you both at some point, maybe in the future, going to be reunited, and maybe Sharon would just leave Roman behind and you guys be reunited? Because I felt that you guys were a better couple, Sharon Tate and J. Sebring. Okay. Spirit guides that are able to see what is transpiring that was leading up to August 9th, 1969 in Los Angeles, California, of the endings of Sharon J. Wushik, Abigail. Can you tell us why this occurred? Was it because Charles Manson was trying to get back at Terry Melcher? Was it drug related? Or was it because of white supremacy, as he's claimed in the past? What was the motive behind these people's lives being ended, please? Thank you so much for coming through. Spirit guides of Sharon Tate, J. Sebring, Washerick, Frywowski, and Abigail Folger. And thank you for any spirits that came through that wanted to speak on behalf of any of them. Thank you for coming through. We are ending the session with you all now, and we are saying goodbye to you all now. We are ending the session with you all now, and we are saying goodbye to you all now. Goodbye, we are ending the session, goodbye. And for those of you still watching Tarot to the Star, as I was conducting this ghost box reading, I felt a touch on my hand. I believe that was Sharon Tate. And I was picking up like on a female presence. But there was a touch in my hand, and I believe she's basically telling us that she's fine, that they're all okay, they're in heaven, they're at peace now, so this whole thing's been put behind them at this point. And that's very comforting for us to know that they're in heaven, I feel. But, you know, I wanted to kind of see if there was any kind of information that would come through on this, that would talk about an actual motive involved here. There was so many things that were spread by that liar, Charles Manson. He was talking about all these different things throughout time, but he was very mentally delusional. It was hard to even believe anything he was saying. So we'll see if any of them knew perhaps what the motive was. Maybe it could have been sad while all this chaotic mess was going on, who knows? Or the spirits, you know, if they provided us any kind of motive as to why this tyrant of a coward did this to them. We'll see if we can find out anything on that. But they were all young. They had their lives ahead of them. This is 1969, great time. You know, the economy in that time was good. A good time for people to become successful. You know, they can get into anything in those times. And make something of themselves. Not to say that you can't now, but there's a lot of technology involved, a lot of competition, a lot of things. I'm sure there was competition back then, but it was more simpler time back then. A lot more doors open, I would think, for people in that time of 1969. So we'll see what happens. I appreciate every single one of you for joining me for today's episode. If you're not subscribed, do subscribe and click on the notification button so you're notified of my upcoming videos. You all are wonderful, and I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here today. Bye now.